When Dr. Jeremy Cole first moved to the sleepy little town of Everbrook, nestled in the lush valleys of upstate New York, he wasn't looking to save anyone, least of all himself, but rather to escape the ghosts of war, the echoes of operating rooms soaked in sorrow, and the unbearable memories of children he couldn't save in the shattered corners of the world. After 2 decades serving as a trauma surgeon in conflict zones like Aleppo, Baghdad, and South Sudan, watching innocents die with every explosion and hearing mothers scream with empty arms, Jeremy was worn thin, hollowed out like an old tree, a man who had given everything and come home with nothing but nightmares, so he packed up his past, left the chaos behind, and retreated to Everbrook with the intention of fading quietly into obscurity. But fate has a curious way of finding those who try to hide, and Jeremy's path took a sharp turn one warm spring afternoon outside a tiny grocery store, where a young boy named Milo sat in a battered red wagon, his legs bound in outdated metal braces, his face sticky with lollipop sugar, and his bright eyes radiating something Jeremy hadn't seen in years, hope, pure and defiant. Beside him stood his mother, Elise, a worn but graceful woman who smiled with tired resilience as she handed out homemade granola bars to passers-by, raising money in small handfuls so Milo could get a new wheelchair. And when Jeremy stopped to buy one, he heard the boy declare boldly, "I'm saving up for new legs so I can run like the wind," and something inside the doctor cracked open, something dormant stirred awake, because Jeremy had once stitched up little boys like Milo, only those boys never made it home, and now here was one who might have a chance, if only someone believed in him enough to try. So Jeremy did what he hadn't done in years, he got involved, first casually, visiting with questions and kind words, then more earnestly, bringing over old therapy tools, research, and makeshift equipment to transform Elise's cramped living room into a rehab center with foam mats, PVC bars, and hope laced into every corner. And though Elise was skeptical, too many people had made promises and walked away, Jeremy persisted, gently and humbly, driven not by guilt or duty, but something purer, a need to help this boy reach the horizon. Days turned into weeks as Milo learned to balance using games and laughter, guided by Jeremy's steady hands and unshakable patience, and the townspeople noticed, first with curiosity, then with support, donating gear, raising funds, baking muffins for medical bills, and watching as the once withdrawn doctor slowly transformed the boy's progress into the heartbeat of their community. But progress wasn't linear, there were setbacks, infections, tears, nights where Milo sobbed that he'd never walk again and Elise cried quietly on the porch while Jeremy whispered, "Hope is heavy, but it's worth carrying," until one day a game-changing possibility arrived. A specialized surgery that could give Milo a real chance to walk unassisted, though the cost was staggering and insurance non-existent, and when Elise tearfully declined the opportunity, Jeremy made the decision without hesitation, driving to New York City, writing a check that emptied his savings, and telling the surgeon, "He saved me first, this is the least I can do." The surgery was long and delicate, but successful, and the recovery grueling, filled with pain, sweat, and small triumphs that felt like miracles, until one day Milo stood up, really stood up, without braces, without help, and when Jeremy returned from a quick phone call, Milo stood in the center of the room, wobbling but proud, and whispered, "I told you I'd run someday," before launching into his arms as Elise wept behind them. The video went viral, the world watched in awe, donations poured in, offers came from hospitals and news shows. But Jeremy declined the spotlight, choosing instead to stay in Everbrook and open a tiny community rehab clinic where he treated other children like Milo, quietly giving hope to families who had nearly lost it, while Milo, now walking, running, riding bikes, became the pride of the town, speaking at school assemblies and telling his friends, "I'm not special, I just had someone who believed I could be." And every summer at the town festival, Milo would pull Jeremy across the stage in that same red wagon, both of them laughing as the crowd stood to applaud the boy who walked and the man who helped him believe he could. And though Jeremy never sought thanks, the town eventually placed a plaque outside his clinic that read, "He just wanted to help a little boy walk again," and ended up helping us all stand taller, a testament to the truth that sometimes the greatest heroes are not the loudest, but the ones who show up quietly, love fiercely, and change the world one step at a time.